Okay, so hopefully I can get through this in all the time that's like left on this camera. Hey guys, it's Caitlin. I haven't done a sit down kind of talking video in a really long time. I think the only videos I'm really sitting down talking is about fashion. And I wanted to talk today about something that's kind of been on my mind for a while. And I kind of wrote down, I think, like 5 of the main points that I feel like kind of take this subject as a whole and kind of, I don't know, I feel like these points that I've written down are kind of the main points of just my thought process with this whole thing. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna get into it. This video is talking all about social media, and I feel like just like this weird negative mindset I've at least been having with it. I'm sure a lot of other people have, but I don't know, recently I've just been kind of, in a way, getting anxiety from social media, and I think for a while I didn't even think that that's where my anxiety was coming from. But the more and more I talked about it and the more and more I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, like this is coming from social media. So I kind of took a little time and wrote down all the topics or all of the points that I just felt like social media kind of triggered my anxiety. So the first kind of thing I want to talk about, something that helped me, was just unfollowing a bunch of fashion bloggers. Now, I love fashion. For a while, I thought I wanted it to be my career. Earring break. Okay, so yeah, for a while, I really thought fashion was going to be my career, and after a couple internships, I just realized, in a way, it just felt kind of fake and materialistic to me, which, I mean, clearly the materialistic side, duh. There was this weird, fake, kind of like plastic, false identity that I felt kind of surrounded fashion, at least with me and like the things I did. So I think just like unfollowing fashion bloggers is kind of like the first thing for me. A lot of fashion bloggers will always post about like the stuff they have, the clothing they have. It's just super materialistic and kind of unrealistic as well. So yeah, and I kind of felt like when I would ever see them like on my feed, it would just make me critical of myself, whether I was aware of it or not. It would also make me want to get like, buy everything that was on trend, even though I always thought that I was never someone who bought into trends, but in reality we all kind of do. It takes a while for you to realize that, and it also takes a while for you to kind of like take a step back and realize if you're being sold to. And I mean, clearly with social media we're always being sold to, so you kind of have to be conscious of that. So yeah, the first thing I kind of realized was just like a negative part of social media was just like fashion bloggers, and maybe even like influencers for you, just like people with a huge following that kind of make you super critical of your life. Like, why are you following those people if they're making you super critical of yourself? They live pretty unrealistic lives. And another point I'm going to talk about is just like the things they post aren't real. So yeah, maybe I'll just hit that point now. I've always, I mean, I think a lot of us have always looked at people's feeds and just kind of compared their lives to your lives. So you like look at someone and you're like, oh my god, they're having so much fun, like, and I'm not. Why is like life like this? Why is life so unfair? Why do they get to live this life and I don't? And I remember this kind of like hit me at least my freshman year of college, seeing all of my friends having like amazing times at college, and like I wasn't necessarily, but I wasn't posting anything to make it seem like I wasn't having a great time. And I remember my mom was saying that like her friends, their like kids or whatever, kept saying like, oh, like I looked like I was having such a good time. Me like posting all that stuff on social media made them like either want to go to my school or like want to go out of state. What I was posting made them have this like false mindset that like I was having a great time. In reality I wasn't. And I remember my mom saying, well, like, you're not going to post a picture of yourself crying, you're not going to post a picture of yourself just like having like a shitty time, so like of course they're going to have this false reality of what your life is. And then that made me realize a lot of people aren't having a great time with their lives right now, but they're not going to post something and say they aren't, which it's kind of like, it's kind of toxic. I mean, social media isn't real. Like, if we can't be real online, then like basically everything is fake. Like, I'm a conspiracist or whatever. But yeah, like, what's wrong with posting pictures of yourself crying on social media? What's wrong with posting a photo, making a caption, not having like the best time, like blah 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 blah? I mean, I feel like that would totally help other people and would kind of crush this false identity of happiness, that you're always happy 24/7 when that's obviously not realistic. So I think me summing up that point is just realizing that what you see on social media isn't necessarily real. What you see someone posting, someone posting like this amazing picture of them like in the car with their friends, or like doing something, just like doing something fun, doesn't necessarily mean they're having fun. I mean, like, I know I've had experiences with people where it's like you took like 1,000 pictures of you looking candid when in reality you were faking it just to get like a good picture to Instagram. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. The next point I would say that kind of goes along with unfollowing bloggers is also just unfollowing people that don't really add anything to your life. And also, I feel like a lot of people just follow people that they either went to school with or don't really know that well, and they follow them because maybe the other person followed them first, and so like you kind of feel bad, so you follow them back. And I mean, like, I've kind of dealt with this a little bit, but then I just think if they're not aiding anything to your life, if you don't know them personally, if you don't hang out with them on a daily basis, then unfollow them. I feel like we're super sensitive when it comes to social media, especially with like unfollowing, blocking, etc., etc. I mean, like, if you think about it, it kind of just makes us seem like super narcissistic if someone unfollows us and we get super offended. I mean, like, you kind of get this mindset like, oh my god, like, why'd they unfollow me? Like, why don't they want to subscribe to my life? Like, etc., etc. And it's just kind of like, it's really not the end of the world. Who cares? Like, it's really not that big of a deal. And I remember watching a video, I think it was a video, but Emma Mercury of the Messy Heads was talking about how she just like unfollowed a bunch of people, and like I think her following is like, she follows 70 something people, I think, which is like a little bit unheard of unless you're like super super big, I guess, which is so stupid in itself. But like, she's only following the people that she feels like inspire her, aid her life in some positive way. So when she opens her social media, whether that be Twitter, subscriptions on YouTube, Instagram, etc., she's opening it and she's constantly inspired. Like, you're constantly just getting this feeling of happiness, and I don't know, it's just like a positive feeling. Whereas like, I'll open my Instagram right now, like, I'm still like a victim of this as well. Like, I'll open my Instagram and just like see people that like I don't really care about, and like, what are they aiding to my life? How are they benefiting my life? I think that's kind of what you have to do. You kind of have to look at your following list and see, like, do they aid my life in any way? Do they bring me happiness in any way? Do they inspire me in any way? If the answer is no, then you probably should click that unfollow button. So yeah, the last one I want to talk about is being so obsessive about what you post online. Especially, I think this one kind of pertains to Instagram, if anything. I think a lot of people still have this whole thing of like, oh, I have to like keep a feed, or I have to like maintain this sort of feed, or like, is this weird to post? Like, will people think I'm weird if I post this? Like, it's your social media account. Like, why do you care? I mean, like, I guess I kind of understand it from like someone who has like a big following, but either way, like, the people who follow you because they like you. Either way, like, it's your social media account. And I think the more we think about like, oh, what are people gonna think about me, it's like you're putting your self-worth into other people, like whether that be them like liking your photos, again, unfollowing you, etc. It's like, why do you care? If that photo makes you happy, then post the photo. If you don't know like what caption to make it, then don't add a caption until you can think of one. Like, it really doesn't matter. And I know, like, at least with me being someone who's creative, and also I like know that I kind of want to do something career-wise that has a lot to do with being online, content creating, etc. So like, in some ways, my Instagram feed is like probably a bit important, just because it's my portfolio. It's what maybe people who want to hire me to freelance will look at and decide whether or not they like what I do. And in that sense, I totally understand. But then, like, I remember talking to my mom about this. My mom was like, well, if it's a photo you want to post, then that kind of describes who you are. And as you continue to post more and more of the photos that you actually like, and the photos that you want, not the photos that you think other people want to see, then that kind of curates this actual real life representation of you. So you're not meeting people or doing work for people and being nervous that like in real life you're not what they expected. When people meet you or when people hang out with you, like whatever it may be, they're going to see the accurate representation of you because you're true to yourself, and you're true to yourself online. You don't like care what other people think. So yeah, I hope that kind of made sense. I know it was kind of all over the place. But yeah, I guess if anything with followers, if you're nervous about losing your followers or gaining followers, in a way, it's kind of not even real either. They're just like a bunch of numbers, and the people who genuinely want to see what you post will stay, and the people who don't will go. And it's really not the end of the world. You're not gonna die. Your arm isn't gonna fall off. Nothing's gonna happen except someone leaving and then maybe another person coming, or maybe 5 people coming. So yeah, I hope this video helped in some way. In a way, it kind of helped me because I got to like talk out my thoughts. But hopefully this helped you, and if you think this might help someone else, definitely show them. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!